Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining me in today's tutorials. Of course, I'm guiding you through loan product, how to set up this loan product, including on the mobile app, web app, and the dashboard. The configuration of these two channel are totally different, as some checks may prevent um, one from displaying to another. Okay, so I'll be walking you through the guide in this video, right? So the first thing we want to do, we want to create an entirely new product by visiting the menu, loan management, so you get to see loan product. All right. So on loan products, you go ahead and click on add new loan product. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is to enter the product name. Okay. So in this case, I can call it a school loan. Okay. So I can decide to give it a code. All right. So I can say this is 2001. Okay. So I say, okay, this is for student. Okay. Of course, you can decide to give whatever descriptions that fits in for you. Okay. So depending on the currencies that have been configured for your account, you're able to have as many currencies as possible. But by default, you should have one basic currency. Okay. So in this case, I want to use the Naira, and I want to allow people who want to subscribe to this particular product. The minimum they can get from me, it's 1,000 naira. Okay, so of course you can decide to put whatever value that fits in for you. And I could say, okay, the maximum that you can take, hence a student, is basically 50,000. Okay, so 50,000. Okay. So I could say, though, I want to take a 10% interest and I want a recurring. So of course, the essence of the recurring is to allow the product know if you want to charge a flat fee across months or just a static fee. Okay. Let me just give an instance. Let's say, this product is designed for 2 months. Okay. So they want to take an interest of 10% across the 2 months, or you want to take 10% for each of the months. So of course, if you are taking for each of the month, that's for the 2 months, that's 20%. You want to make it recurring, right? But of course, if it is just one interest across the both months, that's basically make it not recurring, right? So of course, that's the excess of that. So of course, do you want to allow customer who has loans on external channels? So this could be on credit bureau, credit center, right? So that has been found, possibly they're owing any lender. Do you want to allow our system being able to allow this customer continue, right? Of course. So, okay, this is internal rather. So if he has internal loans, okay, do you still want to allow him continue applying for a new one? You can decide to say no, you have to clear off the previous one he has, or you can also allow him. Okay, so we have the external, which of course, which was what I was making reference to earlier on. If you are owing any other commercial banks out there, okay, or any loan sharks, do you want to still allow them? All right, so you can decide to say yes or no depending on what you want. But of course, in this case, I'll just say no, no. Okay, so on the loan fees, if there are fees that you want to consider, of course, you're able to make config here, depending on the channel, want to you of the fee, whether it's a flat amount or percentage. But of course, in my case, I just want to do a flat fee of 1,000 naira. Okay. All right. So moving next, I want to do repayment. So I can say, okay, this repayment is the maximum amount that is allowed at this time is for 2 months, right? So I could also say, oh, I want it to be basically in weeks, right? So of course it's just up to you, but I could say here is for two, right? So the the repayment structure, how do you want them to repay? Do you want them to repay flat, or you want them to pay on recurring basics, right? So of course, what days do you allow your repayment? You allow repayment on weekends or basically on working days, right? So you're able to say, okay, I want to allow repayment of loan every day, right? So whether you are in or out of system, the customer should be able to make repayment of their loans, right? It's totally up to you to make that decisions. right? So of course here is basically where there's a bit of technical knowledge that is being required depending on what channel you want this loan to be made displayed for, right? So of course if you are asking for guarantor, this requires that the loan has to be internal loans where your team had to review these guarantor requirements. So of course, the loans product will not be displayed on the mobile app, right? Hence, the customer may submit a junk data. For these reasons, this product won't be made display. Of course, internally, it can be made display, and of course, you're able to take the guarantor details and thereabout make your submit, right? So, of course, hence I'm going to be using this product for a mobile app. I will leave it on check. So, of course, the credit check as well. If it for mobile app purpose, that won't be checked. The reason is because if you allow a check, that simply means each time a user make an attempt, there will be a credit check rule. So what this simply means that you'll be charged as many times that this customer make attempt, right? So to avoid too many charge on the business model, we basically allow these businesses to be able to carry out a credit check internally at this case. Of course, except you have your own use cases where you want the customer to be able to carry out this credit check irrespective of what you want to cover up the cost. Of course, you're able to make known to us. But outside of that, you leave them unchecked. What we recommend the most for mobile app channel is to keep only BVN check and transaction check. So of course, just these two are suitable for mobile app loan products. Okay, so what this means for the BVN check, that simply means if the customer do not have BVN linked to their account, they don't even get to see the products. Of course, for customer who register with passport or register with international with a national ID, right? With NIN or international passport, this customer won't get to see this loan product, except they get to link a BVN into their existing account. That's the only time they get to see the loan product. So of course, the loan product remain hidden for all non-KYC customers. So of course, if you leave it unchecked, that simply means both those who has KYC or non-KYC were able to see the product. Okay, so on the transaction check, what this simply implies is do you want this customer to be able to carry out this transaction first before they're able to apply for loan? Let's say they are a new customer, they've not carried out any transaction as a whole, right? So do you still want to allow them to book for loans? Okay, so it's now up to you to say, okay, no, I only want the customers are uh who have carried a transaction, a certain number of transactions to be able to carry out. But which was totally optional. You can decide to say, okay, oh, as long as you have BVN, that won't be any need for me checking up all of that. Of course, this primary setting is basically to allow the customer to be able to apply for the loans, right? While of course the internal decision inside of the credit check, guarantee, all of that can be done from the back end. Okay, at this time. So of course, once you are sure of the settings and sure whether you want to make it display on the mobile app or not, right? Then you go ahead and make create do with this. Okay. Okay. So now we can still have two product and a new product being made available, right? So of course I have a mobile web app that is made available close by. All I want to do is to click on apply. Okay, so it's checking for eligibility. So you can see there's a school loan being displayed for me. Of course, if I go back and add a few checks to it, possibly I say, okay, I need credit check and I need BVN. And possibly because of the credit check is not supported at this time. And I go ahead and save, then refresh this page, click on loan again and apply. So you can see I do not have any eligible loans for mobile app. So that's the main reason. So if you see such a message, you are not eligible. So it's simply one of the checks that has been configured is not correctly supported for that particular customer's account. then you may want to go back to review the settings that you've made in place to ensure compliance. Thank you and do have a great stay.